Oh, what's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday, happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to episode 353 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined for the first time ever on both days this week. Willie Saylor is here. He's in Easton, Pennsylvania, the home of the Red Rovers, Larry Holmes, and Jordan Oliver. To my right, private school educated, and the champion of Calvert Hall, Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr. His father was a Division I starter at Lehigh University.
Also a private school.
Another private school. To the left, Parkersburg High School's own Kyle Brackey, Steve Kyle as we call him. And I'm Christian Piles, as I mentioned earlier, and we're ready to go here. And we're not going to have...
Where are you from?
I'm from the Shenandoah Valley, baby. And I'm proud.
Right.
And you know what? If anyone has something to say about the Shenandoah Valley...
You're a hilljack, dude.
All right, we're getting into it. We're going right into it. I did a good job. I did not get on the message boards, but I heard that they were talking greasy about me and my boys on BWI. And I said, no, I'm not going to read it. We'll just save it for the show, and we can talk about it on there. Because everyone lost their dang minds over Nomad's. No, it's not even a Quake take. It's not even a take. It's just a well-versed opinion about seeding, which he had a good opinion about it with Mikey Carr, Nick Lee, etc., Joey McKenna. And I thought he had a good, I understand his perspective here with Vincenzo Joseph. But the first thing I need to address, the issue, the root issue of this all, in my least favorite words that get thrown around incorrectly too much, the words clickbait. Now, most of you don't actually know what this is.
No, define
Clickbait
it.
is when you're scrolling through Facebook and it says, you won't believe what Kim Kardashian said about Kanye or whatever, and then you click it and it's a 10-picture scroll through that you have to click through to figure out that Kim said she'd love Kanye forever. That is clickbait. But when we take the juiciest part of the headline and it makes you want to click it and read it, that to me is just called good writing. That's just a good headline. That's us doing what we're supposed to be doing, okay? It wasn't like you read why Vincenzo Joseph should be the 3 seed and you got something that was unrelated to it. It wasn't like, oh, you won't believe what Cale Sanderson had to say about Tom Brands, and then you click it and it's like, I respect him as a coach. It was, he should be the 3 seed, okay? And if you click it, you find what I would consider very rational explanation for why he should be the 3 seed. So anyone that says clickbait, you don't even know what clickbait is, okay?
No, they're just being lazy. There's like, we don't, they might possibly have not exalted our guy, and we don't want to have a rational rebuttal. So it must be clickbait.
It's Nolf Next Topic taking message board form and Facebook. Kyle Brackey was waging war on these people on Facebook.
I was having some fun with it. It was clear that most of them didn't read it. They just saw the headline.
They didn't read it. They
Which,
didn't even read it.
I guess in that way it is clickbait because I want you to read what I said.
Yeah, clickbait's also a compliment too, in another way, because the way it's used, it's like, oh, you wanted to read this, you're interested in this topic. But
Anyway,
the point of the matter here is, I think it's perfectly reasonable to say, hey, if Genzo wants to be, or if Genzo and Wick and Marinelli plays out the way that, I think it's reasonable that he could be the 3 seed, right?
well, and let's remove like names and singlets, right? So first of all, seeding.
Let's keep singlets on, but maybe we just don't know what they say.
Yeah, exactly. They're just blue and red and yellow. Okay. First of all, seeding only has to do with this year. There's no doubt that Genzo's undefeated. There's no doubt that he's a 2-time defending national champ. Those are all incredible accomplishments. They don't necessarily play into this argument. And for me, if Evan Wick was the 2-time defending champ and he set out against Genzo, who was returning 3rd, I would be saying the same thing. Now, if you want to read the article and you say, hey, that gets too messy, a lot of guys miss duels, you got T-Shan dropping weight, okay, fine. Maybe you think it will do more good
I'm sorry,
than bad.
T-Shan's involved? I'm confused.
Well, T-Shane dropped to 65, so he's only going to have a handful
gotcha.
of matches. Most of his
Right.
matches will be up to 74.
Understand. Okay, now I get it.
Right? So it's like, okay, well, how do we factor that? That's fine. You looked at the article. You thought, okay, I could see this, but you know what? It's actually gonna cause more messiness, and we should just kind of have this nebulous, messy, non-criteria where the coaches just figure it out, and that's fine. But I was trying to advocate for something that we talked about all season, which is penalizing guys for missing duels, whether they ducked, whether they were injured, whether they were sick, which in most cases guys are hurt and sick, and that's why they don't wrestle.
I think two things about the article. One, is this reality? Is what we want, right? I think that could have been made more clear. I mean, the rules as stated. I mean, a couple times in the article you said punish for not wrestling, and that's not, that's obviously not in the rules as in the seating criteria as we go right now. But if you are advocating for that, then that's one thing. I don't think a kid should be punished for not wrestling. I don't think it should count as a loss. But I do think you should contain all the seeding criteria into this season so that they're not punished, but they're not, if they don't wrestle, they're not earning anything.
Right. Because, like, what's unavoidable is that if Genzo wrestled Wick, or whomever wrestles whomever, right? If there's a missed match, there is a result there, right? Either Genzo wins or Wick wins. And so my contention is by negating that, by not wrestling, again, whether for legitimate reasons or not, there was a result that was missed. And again, I know it gets messy too because like Iowa doesn't wrestle Penn State, right? The Big Ten did not schedule that.
Yes.
So
Okay.
there's always going to be messiness as far as like who wrestles who. That's unavoidable.
That's another problem, right? That's another contention. People that did read the article and actually thought about it critically, they bring up a good point. Well, if they're not on the schedule, Marinelli doesn't hit Vincenzo. Genzo doesn't hit Marinelli, so it doesn't give them an opportunity to get a quality win against each other. Fair point. However, at least if that was the case and it was only based on quality wins, you would schedule a decent schedule, right? I mean, because we all talk about Missouri last year. Missouri, when every one of their guys was 24-1, 26-0, schedule a tougher schedule.
All right, I got to interrupt.
So much?
Sorry. Facebook's on fire right now about
Already.
Nomad's new look. Someone just said, Doug Hoselton said, waiting for Nomad to ask me for 2 bits for my newspaper. Adam Fellers, when did Eminem's brother join FRL as a seating expert? People love the hair. You look great with short hair and no chin hair, according to someone.
I think he looks great.
He looks great. He looked like $1 million. Don't let anyone tell you any different. Okay, so I had to read the 2 bits one. Doug Hoselton, top fan. Thank you. That was great. You should get on there and check out read some of your fan mail.
He's from Fairbury, Prairie Dairy. Hoselton.
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, his son's going for his second Illinois State title this weekend.
Oh my gosh. Y'all really some wrestling experts. They said, all right, Willie, read what they're saying about us. Let's get back to what's most important. What are they saying about us on message boards?
Well, instead of debating the 4 pages into this thread where BWI is totally discounting anything, they immediately go to clickbait. They don't discuss the fact. I mean, here's the fact of the matter. Vincenzo Joseph has 0 losses. Alex Marinelli has 0 losses. Evan Wick has 1 loss to Marinelli, and they face each other this weekend. And they're quality wins, right? That's what we should be debating. We should not be debating if it's clickbait, or we should not be debating.
Oh God.
We should not be debating if. Newsflash, Buffalo Gap, the more you add fans, the dumber the average of group will get in any sport. Typical Shenandoah Valley Hilljack.
Wow.
First of all, whoever said that, you wish you were from the Shenandoah Valley. And last I
It's a
checked,
beautiful place.
isn't your school located in State College, Pennsylvania? If we're talking about better places to live, I will take the Shenandoah Valley all day. If we're talking about industry, if we're talking about, yeah, you've got a great school there. Okay, that's it. Your whole thing is hinged on one school. We have a robust
Well, Happy Valley.
economy.
I mean, I think they're very comparable.
They're
I
not
think they're
comparable.
Shenandoah Valley's got a couple great
They're
schools.
not. They're not both rural, beautiful places.
Well, yes, they are that. But anyways,
I like the Nomad one.
yeah, what'd they say about Nomad?
Read it, Willie.
Well, I
Hill
don't know who
Jack.
this was directed at. I don't know if this directed at. This is what you get when you hire mom's basement type guys to act as journalists.
Spade's response to that was incredible.
Nomad. Yes, Nomad looks more suited for a Comic-Con convention.
Nomad would pin you in a tilt, sir.
Or a Star Wars movie than a wrestling match.
A Star Wars movie, that's a compliment. Unless they think you're like Jar
Yo.
Jar Binks or something.
I don't know, man. I'll take $1 billion if I'm Jar Jar Binks. Star Wars makes a lot of freaking money.
It does. So thank
Yeah,
you.
give me that paper.
Thank him for the Star Wars compliment. What are they saying about? They say anything about Kyle? How's Kyle just completely not made fun of in all this?
They started a thread about me a couple weeks ago. They were really mad about Alien Hour.
Oh, well, they better get used to it because that's coming too. Are they mad at Willie?
I don't know.
Oh, Willie's their
I mean-
lead recruiter.
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
Penn State Willie. Also,
There was a comment about him covertly getting Saunders there, Josh Saunders, to Penn State.
oh, that's interesting. Why would you do that, Willie?
It's not going to happen.
And I see you putting here that they're mad that I put a screenshot that Genzo deleted his Twitter. I don't know what's wrong with that. I thought that was very interesting. He tweeted something at Nomad, and then I was checking his
Yeah,
Twitter
say
again,
it.
and then all of a sudden it was gone. He said, well, he called me a D-bag that went out of his way to screenshot a pic and then blast that to the world that Genzo deleted his social media account. That's a soft A move from a grown man. I don't really understand that. I don't really understand where that measures on the toughness.
So explain
continuum.
it. Vincenzo saw the article and said, appreciate the journalism,
But
but
who really
I don't really care.
Who
Or
really cares? Which, to answer his
And,
question, a lot of people really care.
Well, but Genzo shouldn't,
Yeah.
right? The athlete shouldn't. Like
It's
that.
not like
That's
you
obvious.
It's not like you added Genzo. What do you think, Vincenzo?
Yeah.
No one was talking to you.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Yeah,
you.
so I responded to Chenzo. That's the way I would think if I were you too. But people do care about seeds and rankings. And a couple minutes later his whole account was deleted, right?
Yeah. It was gone. Now it's back. I thought that was interesting. That he a national champion. Yes, I do follow national champions on Twitter. And I think Genzo's actually a hilarious follow on Instagram and Twitter, and would recommend you do the same. So I was sad when it was gone, but I'm glad it's back. And yes, I think it's news. Spencer Lee deleted his Twitter after Midlands for a little bit,
He did.
and it's since come back.
Getting back to the seed thing also, and I specifically timed these out. So I led with the 141 article, in which I advocated that because Joe McKenna missed a match against Mikey Carr, he should also be penalized. In that article, it helped the Penn State guy because I said basically whether Nick Lee loses or wins this weekend against Mikey Carr, he should not drop below the 2 seed.
Yeah, I know.
No
right?
one
So
mentioned that at
Penn-
all in the
Penn State
entire
fans,
Genzo thing.
the Penn State fans were losing their mind because of the Chenzo article. But you wrote about the Mikey Carr thing. I last year did the IMAR thing, which was the same exact argument. So we're being consistent.
Very consistent.
So hey, what do you think? 130. Well, go ahead, Christian. How do you see the seeds? Like, we Nomad posted his what he thinks. What should it be? What do you think it will be?
Well, if Marinelli wins, I do think he should be the one. Now
Very reasonable.
but at the same time, where do you put? Does Genzo go behind a 2-loss Wick at the 2 seed? I guess it's immaterial at that point. But at the same time, for if you're subscribing to that, then why?
The two loss
Well,
thing.
I don't see any way. Hold on. How could Genzo go behind? Yeah, I didn't get that either. No, man.
So
I don't know how Genzo could go behind.
Well, here's my point. Here's my point in all that. If you're saying Genzo should go ahead of Wick, who he didn't wrestle, the whole point of the thing you're trying to do is to punish him for not wrestling. He gets seated ahead of a guy that didn't wrestle. You didn't accomplish the thing, in a way.
Well, that's on Nomad's. That's Nomad's theory that you punish the guy. It counts as a loss. It's not a theory. It's just straight up. You get credit for the wins that you have, and I think Genzo's wins would be better than Wick's. He beat Chance. I think
that doesn't factor in Big Tens though, Willie.
Yeah. Okay. True.
Like NCAA's
Who would Wick's best? He beat Massa. Who would Wick's best win be in the Big Ten?
So, all of them have beaten Isaiah White, right? So they're like that's why they are the definitive top three. The only one who's gotten a chance to wrestle Massa is Genzo. He beat him. The only one who's gotten a chance so far to wrestle Bryce Martin, who should be the 6th seed right now, is Genzo. He beat him. Marinelli beat or has Martin this week. Wick could not wrestle Tishan because Tishan was still up at 174.
We're talking about Bryce Martin and Tishan. I mean,
we asked about quality
wins.
know. I'm going down the line 4, 5, 6, 7 here.
I know, but I don't know. I don't subscribe that Vincenzo gets no for beating Chance Marsteller, returning 4th.
Because it's Big Ten seeding, though, Will.
I don't care.
I think it matters.
For NCAA, yes, it does matter. But for conference seeding, it should be just.
So you're telling me if it was between Bo Jordan and Mark Hall shouldn't get credit for beating Zahid or something like that? I mean,
not for Big Ten seeding, no.
Yes, it should.
I think it should.
But you're making up your own criteria.
I'm not making up my own criteria. First of all, there is no criteria for Big Ten seeding. Second of all, every conference.
Then by definition, you are making up the criteria.
Okay, all right, fine. Yes, I am making up a criteria, but there's no criteria. There's no current criteria. But like Zahid's wins should only be for Pac-12 seeding. Should only matter in the Pac-12. For Cade Brock, his wins and losses in Big 12 should only matter for his Big 12 seeding.
That's not. That's your opinion.
Yeah,
because
it's literally the first thing they look at in the seeding.
Because that's what I don't know why you wouldn't look at conference results first.
This is hypothetical.
Sure, conference
hold on,
first, but Jesus.
Listen, we could go this for 4 hours and we could have record low viewership. Listen, I think we all get it. Conference, I do think there's a national component that should be involved. Certainly, conference results take priority. But then I think after that, I think if beyond that, because conferences, especially Big Tens, are not perfect in that from a scheduling, it's not 1-to-1. You have to look at some outside things and not just common opponent. You should be able to look at who's your best win, who have you beaten.
You should definitely not look at for conference seeding. You should only look at conference. For NCAA, absolutely everything matters. Chenzo's got the best resume for NCAA, no question. But for conferences, it should just be conferences.
If you're going to limit it to just conference seeding, then you have a real problem because of the unbalanced schedule.
I acknowledge that. Like that will always be. I acknowledge that last year. It's always going to be an issue, no matter from day one to day forever.
You have all this helpful information outside of conference rankings that by comparison can add value. And if you're trying to measure these guys, when you have an imbalanced schedule, you should use it.
You should not use anything but conference results for a conference tournament.
All right, we're moving on. Next topic. Missouri, Oklahoma State are going to wrestle this weekend. It's a very, very juicy duel. Missouri has not lost since it's been a very long time.
They got a good winning
I forget
streak.
how long their streak is. They haven't lost this year. I forget how many they were up to, but
it's like 35 or something.
35. That's a heck of a lot. So
they won 2 of the last 4 against Okie State.
Yes, I think that's right. They match up pretty well.
They beat them last year. And they beat them in 2015.
Okay.
So 2 of the last 3.
It is 35. That is correct.
35. That's a lot of duels in a row. Now, I think Oklahoma State matches up well with him. However, I'm a little curious. Will we even so like 74 is probably the marquee match? Will we see Joe Smith wrestle there? Will he weigh in super light and then wrestle Daniel Lewis? I don't know. If you're going down to 65, what's the point in wrestling Daniel Lewis, right? Other than just to help your team win a duel. Certainly, Jacoby Smith is not allowed to wrestle 174 yet. So I'm not sure what matches we're necessarily going to get. It would make the most sense, okay, weigh in Joe Smith as light as he can possibly be and let him wrestle. At least we'll have him, you get Joe Smith, because I don't know what the alternative would be at 174 pounds.
Yeah, if Joe Smith wrestles Daniel, he's going to be 169 maybe, and that's not going to be fun.
That will not be fun. So, and Daniel Lewis is one of those guys where I think he matches up great against everyone, but then he'll just not inexplicably, but I kind of overvalue him time to time. I think he matches up well against Joe Smith, but man, I wouldn't be surprised if Joe could go in that match. So I don't know if we have to go match by match, but start at 25. I think you favor Pitch over Punky for major at minimum against Punky. Mm-hmm. Then 33, Ernesty Fix. Obviously Dayton, but it's an interesting match.
Ernesty dang near ripped Cade Brock's hamstrings off last year with that spladle.
Yes, he did. That was a junker match. That match was a mess. Then Brock Ironman. That's probably going to be a mess because you've got you got to favor Jaden here, the way Cade's been wrestling. But I think it's certainly going to be interesting.
Cade's always got some stuff in him, yeah.
He's always got some stuff. Hey, if that goes upper body, it's interesting because they're both comfortable there.
Dayton -3. Would you take it?
Ooh. Dayton -3.
Ernesty's generally difficult to blow out, which I know 3 isn't a blowout, but
I don't know. I feel like he gives up his legs a little.
He gives up his legs a lot.
It's problematic.
I like Dayton -3. I would take that. I think he covers that. There's Linesmakers did a better job this week. There's only a few where I'm salivating. Hey, Willie.
Low-key good match. Caden G-Feller and Brock Muller have a combined 3 losses.
This could be a mess.
Awesome.
This could be a crazy one.
Awesome match.
Both these guys are maniacs. They're all good in all positions. They're both good on top.
Crafty.
Now watch, it's probably going to be like a 3-2 snooze fest, just knowing all this. But I really think there's potential for this to be a very, very exciting match. I think Caden's the favorite, but like I don't have a ton of confidence just because I think Mahler is, he beat Thompson really soundly, and that means something.
Caden has better wins right now, but I don't know. I think they were in the same Fargo bracket the year G-Feller got second after his senior year, but they didn't wrestle.
That's all I needed to hear. 57, JQs versus Wyatt Sheets. Moving on. 65, Chandler Rogers, Connor Flynn. I said this morning, I think this is kind of a toss-up, the way Chandler looks against Air Force, and Kyle Brackey almost smacked my face. If it wasn't Valentine's Day, I think he would have smacked me.
I just don't think it's a toss-up. I mean, I know Chandler didn't look great against Air Force. It's first time back out on the mat.
Yeah.
I just have a lot of confidence in Chandler in this match.
But if he's hurt, yeah. Full health, yeah, hurt. Chandler definitely.
He just looked rusty and he hadn't been on the mat in a little bit.
I've had some mistaken evaluations of Connor Flynn before. Not this year, but last year.
Duped.
Yeah. I got tricked. But I still think...
You got tricked by who? Alex Clemson.
No. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a close match. I guess I favored Chandler, but who knows? We'll learn a lot about Chandler. Is it they're going to need Chandler against Iowa. That's going to be an amazing duel, and they're going to need everyone to be an approximate version of themselves. 74 we talked about. I mean... You got to favor Daniel. He just pinned the national champion.
He'll be bigger.
He's going to be bigger.
It's in Columbia.
Como. Yeah, tough.
Great.
Tough
great duel, but great duel for sure. Like, as interested as I am to see the results and see the matches, I mean, just seeing who Oklahoma State puts out is a thing into itself.
Right. Yeah, that's like half of the drama there. 84. Okay, it's like Wisman, I think. Wisman versus maybe Jacoby.
Well, it can't be Gear.
Can't be Gear.
All those guys can't drop until like the first time they're gonna. If they all drop, as John said, the first time they're gonna make it is Big 12s when they go to Tulsa.
Okay.
So
Jacoby, Bear Hughes. I don't know. No, not Bear. Bear's an 84.
Yeah, so we're on.
Oh yeah, we're on 84.
Yeah.
Anyways.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, sorry. I'm getting confused. John Smith is confusing me.
Light
So
Jacoby
then-
can still beat Wisman, I think.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, for sure. But then, so what you guys
Let's call
are
him
saying,
Diet Jacoby.
Diet Jacoby.
what you
Jacoby
guys
Light.
are saying is that Gear won't he won't be wrestling because they need to get Weigel mad.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
So Weigel against Cooling. Could be a Weigel
Is
decimation.
that Cooling? With an E?
No, I always went Coling.
Well, I did too, and maybe this isn't the best source, but Matt Lindland called him Cooling, so I just went with it. Hey,
Matt Lindland historically has bad pronunciation.
does he? Is
yeah.
that a known take? Bad
I've heard him pronounce a lot of things wrong.
good Greco wrestler pronunciation. That's your
I would ask your boy Clemson.
okay. And then heavyweight, Elam versus White.
I like Elam, but not in that one.
Not here. So Oklahoma State should win this duel. Iowa should beat Wisconsin. Now, another one of the tastier lines that I saw was, oh my, I'm definitely going to make a strong recommendation here. Okay. Listen up, people. 1 week ago, I told you, bet the farm, Nick Lee +4. If you listen to me, you now have 2 farms. Or 1 farm that is doubled in size, okay? If you did not listen to me,
600 hectares.
this entire week has been full of regret for you. Now, if you go to BetDSI, and if you're the wagering type, there are a few tasty lines where you could potentially grow in the agricultural realm. For me, Sam Stoll, or Trent Hilger +2 against Sam Stoll is as tasty as a Pete Terry's cheeseburger. Okay, I'm all in on that bet. We just saw Stoll struggle with a leg rider. Hilger is very big. He won't be as easily moved. Like Stoll likes to move guys around. I think Hilger will be okay there. Honestly, this version of Sam Stoll that is not healthy should not be favored against Trent Hilger. And at +2 points, thank you very much. And it's Thor season. They're in Madison.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, the only reason this bet doesn't win for you is because Aaron Costello takes the mat. That's why I strongly feel. So there you go.
Do you think I like it? I like that pick. Hilger's good on top, and that's exactly what Stoll struggled with against Jensen. But do you think that Stoll's obvious struggles on bottom, like everybody saw Stoll struggle on bottom, and now the rest of the country is going to be like, okay, we're going to ride Stoll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Iowa counters that by saying, Sam, you need to be more aggressive on your feet. You need to have more urgency on your feet.
Well, no, I mean they can say that, but Sam's ability is his ability. What he can do is what he can do. It's not like he's holding back. I think he's doing the best he can every step of the way. He's not a leg attacker. He's gonna go over unders and move you around, force you into bad shots. He's gonna run behind you. That's the template. You're gonna say, you know what, you need to fire off some leg attacks. I don't.
He's stronger than most guys.
No, I don't. I'm not saying leg attacks. I'm saying push him to the edge earlier, force some stall calls, get him out of position. Just be more assertive.
Hilger moves well. Now he didn't in a couple matches, like against Kassar, he didn't really move well, and that was an even worse matchup there because Cassar does move so well. But if Hilger keeps moving, I don't know how effective. I mean, Stoll's going to have to bring him into the box, right? And I don't think. I mean, obviously Stoll's really good, but I don't know if Hilger's going to allow him to bring it into the box.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. You can say be more aggressive against Trent Hilger. I don't know what that would look like or mean. So no, I don't see there's like an increased urgency. He's gonna come out, he's gonna try to get to his holds and drive him straight to the edge and win on stall calls and stuff like that.
Step outs.
That's how he's gonna beat these really good guys. Or guys, I mean, I think there's a good chance Hilger just takes top here. He's done it before. He could do it again. Jensen did. So I don't even know if Stoll will go under. He did against Hamida. But Hamida's not really known for his riding like Hilger is.
And if it gets to a sudden victory situation, it still favors Hilger because I like him to get a takedown in overtime, sudden victory 1 or 2, and ride Stoll a little bit longer. So, yeah. This version of Stoll, I have a hard time seeing winning.
Yeah. Okay. Back to the lines. You had G. You put this in the sheet here. G is a 2.5-point favorite over Mahler. That's interesting. And Joe Smith, 3-point dog against Daniel Lewis. Also interesting. I would probably take Daniel on that one. Micic-Suriano.
Oh, boy.
We haven't even talked about it. Let's talk about it. This is the biggest individual matchup of the weekend, maybe of our lifetimes. And I'm really excited for this one because I feel like I'm going to know everything about 133 after I see this match. I'm going to know it all. I'm going to know basically what can and should happen at NCAAs moving forward in Big Tens, right? I really feel that way. If it's a super close match, super close, like, okay, then I really believe Micic-Suriano fix, they can win titles. It's those three, and it's going to be a dogfight at Big Tens and NCAAs, okay? If Micic wins kind of soundly, that's it. I'm ready to jump off the Suriano national champion prediction, and I will team sickle. And I'll say Micic is going to win. Okay, I'm ready to do that. I'm prepared to go that direction. So I feel like we're going to know the future at 133, and I'm so excited for that. And Nick Suriano, a 2-point dog in the rack.
Ooh.
To that I say,
Ooh.
What an insult, good sir. And I like Suriano. I like the value at +2 for Suriano if you're a bet DSI wagering type.
I want to get back to the match itself and the line in a second, but Willie and CP, I want both of you. CP first. Okay, so a lot of matches, right? We see guys make adjustments the second time around. Mm-hmm. If one loses, so let's say Micic loses, say Suriano loses, which one is more likely to be able to make the adjustments for NCAAs and Big Tens?
I will say Micic because I think he has more plays to make. He's got more moves. He's got just a more diverse skill set. And I'll say I've seen it. I've seen him get tech-falled by Dayton Fix and make adjustments. In a match where he gets blown out, really, and I know that we're going back to like 2015 now, but really what's changed? They're both some of the best in the country. Right. Micic made the adjustments, and those kind of were not close matches, right? Like I think he's more that mind. Suriano's skill set is his skill set. He's really good re-attacker. He's really tough to score on. If Micic can score on him here, he's going to be able to score on him at Big Tens and NCAAs.
And also, I think this is more of like a mental adjustment or like just whatever. Micic DeSanto, right? Different mindset in the match, different point in the year, different level of periodization. Yeah. You saw different Micic at NCAAs against Santo than you saw on the backside CKLV.
Well, and that's the other thing with Micic. There's no with Suriano, you basically get the 90% or better Suriano every single time, in my opinion. You kind of always get it. Micic had a tough one with Paetzel, right? Like, he's a guy he got annihilated by Austin DeSanto. Then he went on to annihilate him. So we've seen him. So for that reason, if he loses, I think we say that, yeah, he can make adjustments. So I think the clear answer is Micic.
So more likely, if Micic loses, that he can
flip
the result than if Suriano loses.
Exactly. Because like I said, if Nick wins, he's going to win close, in my opinion. I will say, I'll still believe that Nick is the favorite in my pick, but I'll say it's those three moving forward. Micic handles, it's him.
Willie, I want to hear your thoughts on that too.
I think that Christian's right. With Nick, you get what you get. He is who he is, and he's usually he has his things that he does. You're not going to see a different version of him next go round, right? And both in his technique and what he brings to the mat, and also in his level. He's always
on.
He's never had a bad performance.
Right.
Right.
The only one I would say, the only time he had a bad performance, I would say, is DeSanto. Right. I think think mentally, with the top wrestling and some of the, just couldn't quite finish that match. Where I feel like he proved most of the match he was probably the better guy, but just didn't get it done. Didn't finish the match. I think that's the only example.
Was that his worst performance where like he's up since like the Vito match?
I mean, the Vito match was kind of he got reversed.
That was like 4 or 5 years, maybe more, maybe 6 years ago.
It was 2014, fall of 2014.
Yeah, it was like 5 years ago.
15.
It was 15. And even that he got reversed late. He was like winning or going to ride out for the win and got reversed late, and I think he got cradled and put on his back.
But the point of that is so for 5 years we've kind of seen the same level of, pace, horsepower, all that stuff. And of course he's lost matches, but you've kind of seen the same guy.
All right.
Other than the Spencer loss in the finals, he lost by 1 or 2 to Gilman. He lost by 1 or 2. Everything's like a 1 or 2 point loss.
Yeah, and that's my other thing with this +2. He's only lost by 2 or more to Spencer in the finals. And
that's it.
It was 2 points to DeSanto. Exactly 2. It was 6-4.
So it was tied at the time he got taken down. So it was 2 then. And that was a weird match. So it doesn't really happen. I don't know. All right, let's make our picks. Starting with Kyle. Go. Now.
Micic.
Oh.
I changed.
Win and cover?
What's the line? I'm sorry.
2.
No.
It is actually it got bet down.
What is
so
it
it's
now?
1.5 right now.
Oh, 1.5?
Mm-hmm. They opened at 2. But if you go on BetDSI right now, it's bet down. Means people put money on Suriano. It's 1.5.
Smart.
I'll go with Micic.
Micic money line. Stay away from the spread.
Yeah, I've got I'm sticking with Nick. Sticking with Suriano.
In Jersey, yeah, that's. I don't think that factors in.
I think he matches up maybe as well as anyone. I think he's the guy that can beat Micic if there's a guy that can beat him.
Can Suriano out-horse Micic? Is there that much of a strength difference there?
I think he'll have the advantage. I don't see Micic getting horsed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I think he is basically what I'm asking is to take down Micic, is Suriano gonna have to pick him up off the mat like he did against Philippi?
No, he doesn't have to do that. Nick's a really good finisher. And he doesn't have to lift to do it. But he could potentially pick him up. I think it's a 1 takedown match. I don't see either guy riding the other. I don't see a transition takedown to turn, even though both guys are pretty good at it with a similar hold. But I'm sticking with Suriano.
Will Suriano be more offensive in this one than he was against Fix?
He certainly can't be
he's been
less
offensive lately.
It's basically impossible. No, he will be more offensive, and I think Stevan probably gives you some more openings than Dayton.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, I'm sticking with Nick. Everyone else has jumped ship. It's just me and young Nicholas in our vessel, navigating these stormy seas. And let it be known, I believe. Okay.
Couple more good ones on the slate. Ohio State, Nebraska should be a good duel.
Yes, it should. The marquee matches there would be 84 Vince Martin, if you know, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the matchups aren't so juicy as they could go 5-5. I mean, Nebraska could give them a run, right?
Right.
If all things play out to their favor.
Yep, that's a good one. Not a ton of super juicy individual matchups there. Okay, and Iowa-Wisconsin. I'm curious for this one as well. I think it's going to be a really wild scene. Let's talk about Marinelli-Wick. Last time it was a pretty dominant win for Marinelli, but he got ridden for a while. What are the adjustments that Wick needs to make from neutral that he wasn't able to make? It wasn't just that he got taken down. It was he really didn't give himself many opportunities to score on Marinelli.
He wasn't close. The way I remember it, he wasn't close to scoring.
No. And that really surprised me because he was able to get to Marinelli's legs pretty well in their NCAA match. So let's go reverse order on that one. I've got Marinelli in this one, even though I don't know. I strongly believe this is not going to look like either of their matches, right? Like I think this is a super competitive, really close match down the end. He's not going to dominate Wick from neutral. Wick's not going to dominate him, I don't think, even though it's going to be a madhouse there in Wisconsin.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know how to pick this. I mean, you have a 16-3 Wick win.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have a 2-point Marinelli win, but a 2-point win that it was all Marinelli.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going Marinelli, but we've seen 2 night and day matches.
Yeah, there's not like, all right, I can see this trend here.
Well, Wick has an advantage on top, right? Both matches, he's proved that. Now, in NCAAs, he was able to turn them. In Midlands, that was not the case. And if you look at the takedowns that Marinelli got against Wick were very interesting to me. Like, he just kind of, it wasn't even a drop step, like just kind of dropped to his knee, got that. Marinelli does an excellent job, right? Locking right below the butt, getting you up off the mat and finishing really quick. And, Wick, it's hard for a guy who's 6'4" to not give up his legs, right? I got Wick, but because I think there's going to be a little adjustments to how quickly Marinelli can finish. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. If the longer it takes Marinelli to finish, the more likely Wick's going to be able to win. If Marinelli's finishing quick again, Wick's advantage on top isn't going to matter. So I got Wick, and it's probably because it's home field advantage. So
I'm starting to get swayed a little bit, and not really because of what you said necessarily, but just I'm sitting here thinking he's going to start with Wick starts with a 2-0 lead. He's going to get out, and he's going to get riding time, or Marinelli's not going to take bottom and get an escape, right? Mm-hmm. So with that, I'm like, man, it's really tough to pick Marinelli. But then I go back and I watch your Midlands match. I'm like, well, yeah, certainly. So I don't know. Well, I'll stick with him, but dang.
And Marinelli, I think that was like he knew that in the Midlands match, right? Like Marinelli's a really smart wrestler, so he knows like, okay, I have to get multiple takedowns here early on to negate. I don't know what's going on there. To negate Wick's kind of mat advantages that we've seen. So, again, Marinelli's going to have to finish quick. Wick's a good scrambler. It's in Madison. If it was neutral, I'd probably take Marinelli. I'm leaning Wick here. What's the line? Is there a line on this?
2.
In favor of Marinelli?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would go. I definitely like Wick to cover that.
Yeah. That's smart. All right. William Saylor.
I think, I don't know. I haven't looked in, 12 hours. But I think the line actually dropped to 1.5, and which means money on Wick. I'll take the bull. I think I got the bull by 2.
It's fair.
Bull by 2.
Marinelli. By 3.
Wow.
Covers.
Oh, wow.
Covers.
He gets riding time.
Yeah.
So he gets how many takedowns then?
3.
3
Holy
takedowns.
Smokes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a blowout from Bracky here.
I mean, Baronell's really good on his feet. So
I love both these guys. I think they're both awesome.
Subconsciously, I may have also picked Wick because I do want to see the chaos of what happens. I don't think the coaches are going to do what
I think it'll
I
be easy.
advocated for.
I think seeding becomes very easy if Wick beats Bull. I think Chenzo's the clear one. Those two are the 2 and 3. Wick 2, Bull 3. That will be what happens.
If Bull wins,
that's
Genzo too.
Chaos. Yeah, chaos happens if Marinelli wins. I think it's very clear what will happen is very clear if Wick wins. Mm-hmm. Chenzo will be the one. Hey.
Another good one. I mean, to me, interesting. Very interesting. I don't know to you, but Moran. I think that's an interesting match.
I do too because Moran needs people to shoot on him. Max Murin's not your guy. Not recently.
That is where Moran's
however, if someone is going to,
I kind of like it.
If someone is going to coerce you into shooting a lot, it's Tristan Moran. Mm-hmm. He dangles that carrot.
Right. Two things are going on there. You're exactly right, and I wrote that in the odds article. Was like Moran hasn't been shooting, but Moran is like he invites you in on his legs, and like there's clear openings there, right? And number one, number two, Moran sort of kind of got benched for not shooting, right? So he's going to look to shoot. I think Moran's going to get in on Moran, and then I think the match is decided there. What happens? Does Moran counter or does Moran finish? Why are you guys laughing so much? What's happening?
Nothing. Yeah, I have no idea. I think this match is going to be a mess, and I'll take Moran just because you look at the guys he's beaten. There's a lot of good ones in there. Albert.
Beat Nick Lee.
And I think your first crack at Moran is your toughest one. Right? Although our weigh-in is always going to be interesting.
For Tristan?
Oh, yeah. It's not easy.
Do we think they started 25?
Remember in high school, Moran always used to beat – didn't he always used to beat Kolodzic?
Yeah, he was like 3-0 against Kolodzic.
Junior trials, I want to say, or junior
Twice.
Open? Yeah.
In the same tournament.
Yeah.
And I think junior duels.
Well, there you go. If it's junior, he's in trouble. If it's Tristan Moran a junior right now,
yes.
If so, he should go 149.
Hey,
Illuminati.
To the 141 seeds, I guess we can wait till are we going to talk about Penn State, Illinois?
I think, you know what? Let's go there right now.
Yeah. We can get to that when we talk about Carly.
Go ahead.
All right, anyway. So in my 141 article, again, kind of same thing, advocated for punishing Joey for not wrestling against Mikey Carr. If Mikey Carr wins, he's the clear one. Like, no question, right? Because he'll have wins over basically everybody else. Do you think they'll give Joey the 2? Joey beat Moran. Moran beat Lee. Lee beat McKenna. Joey will have one loss, again, not having wrestled Mikey Carr, which he smoked Mikey Carr last year, but he didn't wrestle him. How do you think that'll go?
I don't know how they'll do that. I think so. If Mike beats Nick, you're saying Mike should be the one.
Airtight number one, undefeated with wins over like 2 through 8, except for Joey,
who he was there to wrestle and didn't get to wrestle. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think that would make sense. I really strongly think Nick Lee's going to win this match this time, and I know Mike's really good.
Last year was 10-6 at Big Tens. Mm-hmm. Then Nick obviously had a better performance at NCAAs.
Yes, he did not get Sedarian parried. Mm-hmm. Although he did get Ryan Dealed.
He got Ryan Dealed.
But he persevered after that. So I just think, man, I like Nick. I don't think his pace will negatively impact Carr necessarily. I don't think it's like a pace thing. I just think more offense, a lot more ways to score. Mikey Carr's a dog. He does this after he wins or something. We're not quite sure what that means. We theorize he could have made a blood oath with the Underlord. Until we find out definitively, we're just going with that.
Yeah.
That one's at Illinois too, which, like, if there's a close match,
You
right?
don't just walk into Huff Hall and beat
You
Mikey
do not.
Carr.
Even though one time Jason Off sauntered in there and pinned Imar.
Yeah.
That was an interesting moment in wrestling. Okay. RBY Dylan Duncan, I guess, is a match. But really, I don't know why. I guess I do know why. There's no line for Shakur versus Emery Parker. It's probably because Shakur doesn't wrestle anybody. And since Emery Parker's good, we probably won't see it. But maybe.
Shakur could have 2 ranked matchups if he's in the lineup. Michigan State with Cam Caffey Friday night.
I think he used it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what? Who cares what I think? But, well, you do. You're listening. Thank you for that. But Shakur Rashid, I would love to see him against an Emery Parker. And maybe he goes and he takes 2 tough losses. I kind of understand not wrestling Miles Martin. Like, if you're not there. But I think you want to see where you are headed into Big Tens. And I think Parker's a winnable match for Shakur, as is Cameron Caffey. 2 tough tests. I think it'd be great to see him.
Shakur's one, again, I got seed on the brain, guys. Shakur's another one, right? If he doesn't wrestle Parker or Caffey, his best win will be against Embry, and then he'll also have beaten Reinhardt and Brendan Devine. So that puts him at like 6 or 7.
Yes.
Which is probably actually better because then that's opposite Miles.
Yeah, you don't want to be a top 5 seed. Yeah, maybe we see that. Who knows? But any thoughts on the Parker, instead of hypothetical seeds, like the actual match, the competition that's going to happen, Willie?
If Shakur wrestled Parker, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I would go Shakur. I don't know. You ever notice Parker wrestles like straight up? He stands straight up a lot.
Well, he loves his underhooks. Yeah, it can
I
be
don't know. That
problematic.
being said, I mean, I would take Shakur like we see him typically, but I like from Jump Street, he did not look good against Embry.
I thought his opening
So,
exchange
I don't
actually
know.
was pretty impressive. How hard he had to work for that finish. I was actually, wow. He had to exert a lot there. Okay. So that's that match. And that's it. Penn State.
Here's one I want to ask you about.
Not Pietrowski. Go.
No.
Oh, not that one?
Ethan Smith, Mikey Labriola.
Getting back to Ohio State.
All right. Back
Nebraska.
to Nebraska. I can't believe you're even talking about a Bethlehem Catholic athlete, given your private school issues. I don't know. I think Labriola comfortably. Smith.
That's
finish.
what I would have thought too, but he had to pull one out against Skatska.
Skatska's good.
Yeah, Skatska's.
Not that Smith isn't good. Oh yeah, Smith could be. I mean, Smith's been knocking at the door of a breakthrough win, and maybe it comes here. But I just like what I've seen.
I mean,
out of
I
Labriola.
don't know. I'm looking forward to that match.
I bet you are.
Just to see.
Just to find out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're apparently not going to try to win the World Cup this year. That's too bad.
Is that true? Is that
It's
true though?
It is true. Jordan's not going. It's just like a confluence of things. Apparently. But yeah, I don't think they're going. I don't know if Snyder.
So somebody sent out a tweet, with our lineup, and the lineup is not our ones.
No.
I don't
Right.
think that will be our exact lineup, but I think the general idea of us are one. I mean, here's the thing. Look at guys' social media before they're at a tournament, right? A lot of people ask, like, oh, who's going to this, who's going to that? A lot of times they just tell you, like, hey, can't wait to compete in another World Cup, right? Try to win a title for USA. And most of them are radio silence on it, probably because they're not going.
Yeah, which means like no Snyder, no Jaden. I don't. Some of it was like theorized, like they're getting these college guys ready, etc., because it's right between conference NCAAs. Like Jaden Cox ain't working with college guys. He's in college. Is he Air Force?
Yeah.
Like Kyle Snyder, David Taylor.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Well, what I do.
Why aren't we trying to win the World Cup?
Why are you not going to the World Cup? I mean, I don't know. How many times you compete a year?
What I think part of it
like
is
this 2 or
we're
3
sending a
times.
really good team to the Kolov a couple weeks before the ranking tournament in Bulgaria,
That's true.
which I think there's going to be a lot of 1s and or 2s at that. So, 2 weeks apart kind of. And then Lauren Burroughs was saying something about, I don't know if it was visas but I think something that has less to
Listen.
do with wrestling and more to do with like the countries.
We got Holmes and Mike to Siberia in a week.
Fair.
I think
Fair.
I think we can. I'm throwing out all visa excuses right now. Okay, I will allow
Fair.
the excuse of I don't want to stay in Bulgaria or over here for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. Okay, fair. Because what's going to help our senior world team? It's getting rankings points theoretically. So okay, that's fine.
Yeah, World Cup not a ranking tournament.
Not a ranking tournament.
Hey, by the way, last week at this time, I was driving to Hershey, PA, and you guys were having a knockdown, drag-out thing about transfers.
Well, I almost got to make
And-
some points.
And when I got there, Brock Height, who used to work for us, does a lot of stuff with us still. He had an interesting take on it. He agreed with Piles, but he said, since the rankings tournaments, they're met with indifference by a lot of nations, and there's also these transfer things. How about if the rankings tournament, he said, if I was in charge of it, you could go, and if you placed at a rankings tournament, you guarantee a place for Worlds. In so much, if you, in other words, Russia, not in an Olympic year, but in a World year, Russia could send 3 guys to Worlds. If United States sent guys to a rankings tournament, or Japan, or whoever it may be, they sent guys to a ranking tournament and they placed, they get to send multiple guys. That way, number one, rankings tournament means more, and 2, you have less transfers.
I don't like multi-entry for Worlds for like that's like pure opinion thing. There's
Now,
You know what I mean?
I don't like it all the way, but if it's only like 3 or 4 guys, I like it.
what I do like is to participate in Worlds as your country single entry, you have to wrestle at one of 5 opportunities for a ranking event.
I don't know. I
'Cause
kind
that-
of like.
'cause-
I really like the multiple entry thing, especially in a World's year. Now you can't do it in an Olympic year. One, because it's the Olympics, and I think they should stick to that standard. And 2, because at the Olympics there's a quota. There's a bracket quota, right? You can only get what is it, 16?
Yeah, it's gonna be 16.
But in a World's year, the brackets can be as big as they want.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how. I don't think that has as much to do with the thing. The argument. I don't know if you really teed it up. What the argument was. The argument was about guys leaving their country where they live and are residents to go find, let's call it what it is, the path of least resistance to make a world or Olympic team. Okay.
Sure, but
And to
there is
me-
some import there into. I mean, I think that would quell a little bit of the transfers.
I don't. Pico's trying to make the Olympic team. He doesn't think there's as good an opportunity to make it for the United States, so he's going to go to Mexico.
Well,
where
it wouldn't.
he thinks he can.
It wouldn't in Pico's case. No.
Here's the thing with Pico that I want to know. So when a country can block a transfer for 2 years, right? So if I want to go to Canada, right, or Mexico, USA can be like, no, you can't, and block me for 2 years.
Gary Abbott will block you.
Exactly. What I don't know is that applied retroactively, meaning Pico hasn't wrestled for 4 years, so does that count as if he has done everything with the Mexican Wrestling Federation that he needs to do and with UWW that he needs to do, does that kind of apply like, okay, I haven't wrestled for 4 years, so USA can't block me in the sense that because Russia can do it too, right? Any country can do it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Because that matters a lot.
yeah, I hate to say it, but if they can flex that, I think they probably should.
And
Like-
I think that's what happened with Micic. Because remember, we didn't see Micic for Now that's also kind of a lot of college guys don't do the international thing right during their college career, but we didn't see him at junior trials and a couple things. So I think USA probably did apply it there.
So I want to say, here's how I view international and Olympic sport. Okay, I view it completely separately from my view, like how I would view the NBA or the NFL or Major League Baseball. The pinnacle of our sport is the World and Olympic Championships. Okay, and how I view it and how I viewed the Olympics is the best from every country. They come and they compete to see who is the best in the world, to both, one, determine who the best individual is, and two, which nations are superior athletically in a particular sport. That is how I view world and Olympic competition in wrestling. And maybe it's maybe that's a utopia, but that's truly how I view it. And the idea of guys changing where they're from to find a path to make the team, to me, is antithetical to the sport. And the one thing where I really strongly disagree is the idea of them being denied an opportunity. The only one denying them an opportunity to make the team is themselves and their own merits. Okay? No one is saying Aaron Pico can't make the Olympic team. The only thing keeping Aaron Pico from the Olympic team is the fact that he might not be good enough to make the Olympic team in the country where he lived and competed for. Period. There's no one denying anyone an opportunity there. The only opportunity being denied is self-imposed.
I find myself a little bit more, I don't want to say sympathetic, but I'm with you in a lot of that, Christian. But in the case of Pico, I find it a little bit, I'm not as staunchly again, I'm not as much, for only the fact that he has this pro fighting career that's going on, and the U.S. process involves multiple steps. Where, I mean, if he got a pass, if he could wrestle for Mexico, it's real easy. He goes to Pan Am's, he wins a match or two, and he's in the Olympics.
You want to be the best wrestler in the world, you need to wrestle. I don't have any sympathy because he chose MMA career. He chose to. Whose idea was it for him to be a professional fighter at age 19 or 20? No one signed him up to that. He wasn't drafted into that. He decided, this is the path I want to do. I want to be an MMA fighter. Okay, so he's an MMA fighter.
Since he did that, yes, it's easier, but what works within his schedule is probably that's much more palatable than going through the process in the United States.
Okay, and I have no sympathy for that, and I don't think he's being denied an opportunity in any way, shape, or form. And this is not some professional opportunity.
Why do you keep bringing up denying an opportunity? I don't think
because that's what he was saying.
That's not
Sour T was saying on Twitter. So I'm just like, all right.
That's not what I was saying.
Certainly, Aaron Pico has not come out and said, "I'm being denied an opportunity." I think that's just, with his schedule, that makes the most sense. Now, if you want to say, well, that's not very patriotic to a country that's always been here and supported you and that you live in and you pay taxes in and you represented at junior worlds and you represented at cadet worlds, if you want to say it's not patriotic, then you're in your right. But the difference between Pico and where he is at in his professional fighting career and the fact of the matter is the United States process is a multi-tiered process that takes almost, half a year to complete to make the team, as compared to a David Habit. David Habit can wrestle for America. Abinator could wrestle for America. Micic could wrestle for America. They don't have this schedule of, fighting that they're going through. I'm not saying 100% I give him a pass, but I understand it more than I do for those other guys.
You're an American. Wrestle for America. You were born here. You live here. You train here. You are an American. The only reason you don't want to wrestle for America is because you don't think you're going to make the team. That's my opinion. That's why I believe these guys are choosing this path.
All right, so I got a couple things. So as far as denied opportunity, to me it's not about a denied opportunity in the sense like they don't have an opportunity. It is that the right to allow them to have that opportunity supersedes anything nationalistic, patriotic, where you live, whatever. My second thing is, how do you feel? Because what really irked me is you said like you have to compete for your nation of birth. So how do you feel about Tervel, Elena, Grace Bullen, who wrestled for Norway and is from Eritrea?
Eldar,
Alan Vera's from Cuba. He's going to wrestle for America this year. And again, every country has different rules as far as to wrestle for America.
Tervel's an
Tervel got
American.
here when he was like 6 months old or something.
Okay, but he said you have to wrestle for the country you're
No.
born. Yes, you did. You said you have to wrestle for the country you're born. That is 100% what you said.
Okay, well,
So that's why I want to ask you about those
okay.
wrestlers.
You can find some examples. Yeah, sure. Tervel should be able to. You're born and raised in America, or you're.
I'm not talking about born.
Okay, you're basically they're American citizens who they don't have some citizenship, change of heart as they reach athletic maturity, and then they decide where they want. That's not what Tervel did, right? Tervel's been representing America.
I know. I'm just telling you what you said.
And you're talking about the Nevada. Okay, so you got hung up on the word "born." Okay?
Because that is a huge thing, dude.
Well, no.
To say you can only wrestle where you were born. That is a whole, or in any sport compete where you're born. That's a whole that is restrictive and bad and not legal. You know what I mean? That's why I'm asking you
Are
about this.
you calling me a criminal?
Yes. So
no, okay. Listen, hold on. But we're talking about Aaron Pico. We're talking about Stevan Micic. Don't. You're switching it up. Fine. I concede.
I wanted you to clarify that.
I concede. Tervel Delagnev should be able to wrestle for America, in my opinion. Probably would have been easier for him to make the Bulgarian team, frankly.
Oh yeah.
So
there's also every country has different rules, right? So to wrestle for America, Ildar and Alan Vera, who are kind of more of the examples, like Pico, where, as you said, athletic maturity, they do have to become American citizens. That's a USOC rule.
Mm-hmm.
Not every country has those same rules. So there's also rules within the countries, right? And in this case, yes, to wrestle for America, you have to be an American citizen.
You don't even have to be a citizen for some of these countries to wrestle for them, right?
No, you need it's basically a sport passport.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, think about. I mean, just if you. Maybe it's just my own view of what international sport is, but I just don't. I don't like that. I mean, maybe it's wrong, but that's where I fall on it, and I like guys who wrestle for their country.
So one more thing though. So if Micic or Pico or whomever move to Serbia right now, train there 100% full, would you have less of an issue with it? I know your take about the born thing. We're beyond that. I'm talking about now they have the rule, right? He can transfer one time. He's made the one-time transfer. But every country should have the rule of if you compete for them, you must also live there and train there and be a citizen. Basically, you're forgoing your United States citizenship for the purpose of sport.
You have lost all your LA privileges.
You lost your LA privileges. Perfect.
Well, look at Chamizo. Chamizo went to Cuba. I mean, he lives half his life in a different country.
Yeah.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So should Chamizo have to 100%? And obviously not 100% because
How do you enforce that?
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you enforce? You have to live.
That's my thing.
Yeah, that's why you still.
The enforceability of it makes it illegal.
Yeah, you can't make a move there. No, I don't know if that would change. I don't think that would change it. And besides, that's a hypothetical. It's not happening. Aaron Pico's going to live and train in America and then wrestle against Americans with the idea of making a different world. Same for Stevan Micic. And that goes back to the point of, USA Wrestling puts this investment into these guys and then they just bounce. Non-competes are real things that we've probably signed, right? Like that's a real thing.
That's the 2-year thing. That's the 2-year block thing.
Okay.
And also for Micic and Pico as a world medalist, there is the fee paid from the receiving country to the leaving country is higher the bigger your accolade, right? So as a junior world medalist, Serbia had to pay USA Wrestling more than if, say, who's never made a world team?
Habit.
Yeah, Habit, right? Habit never made a world team.
How much would Azerbaijan pay for you?
For me, 10 rubles.
10 rubles, which is about nothing. All right, I'm sorry that we got on this again. This was.
I'm not. It's a good discussion.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about it more. Is I guess my main point.
When Pan Am's actually rolls around,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a knuckle drag.
that's gonna be fun.
I can't wait for those draws.
Believe it when we see it. Okay. Does nickel questions from friends? Here's Pops Redfoot. Does nickel wrestling in the worst weight class have any impact on Hodge voting? Well, quality of competition is a criteria,
It
and
can,
so
for sure.
yes, it can. What helps nickel in this case is that Jason Nolf wrestles at 157, which is also not great. But yeah, that can have an impact. What's more likely, Pico on top of the Olympic podium or Ben Askren on top of the Midlands podium? This is a tough one because, more likely it's probably Ben Askren, except every year he's like, oh, I'm having a kid. Oh, I'm in the UFC. Probably next year it's like, oh, I'm running for Congress or something stupid like that. So he's probably going to have some excuse next year. And so for that reason, I don't know. I will say a slight edge to Askren, but only if his congressional campaign flops. Next question. Valentine's Day plans at Bracky, Nomad, and Willie.
Brack
I
astrology.
really want to know Nomads.
RPI comes out tonight.
Nomad got a haircut, shaved his face. He's wearing red.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah, I guess I'm wearing
I'm
red.
thinking.
Fellers wanted to know if your Tinder pictures were updated with the new haircut and clean shave.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do you have plans?
No.
No plans. He's available, ladies. Willie.
I'm gonna switch it up tonight. And I'm gonna have some beers and some wings,
Switching it up.
and have a good night.
Probably yell at Nomads more about
Probably-
private schools.
Oh my gosh.
You guys could
I
just
had a
text
good
each
time.
other.
No, it's way more fun to play that one out in public. Because
Yeah.
then more people can chime in.
It was really weird. Okay.
It was.
I thought so. Someone said Burroughs is going 79. That's not a question. It was a statement from Kurt Jones 87.
Well, because
Which is interesting because he was registered at 79 for Urigan.
But again, we have seen all kinds of weird screw-ups when it comes to, Abinator's registered at 65 kilos for Dave Schultz, right? Like, all the time.
I'm not ruling that
in
out.
UWW. Sure. That one's not outrageous, but like...
Yes. Abinator going 65?
No, I'm talking about
Oh,
Burroughs
okay.
at Urigan.
Oh,
So,
yeah. No, I think if the guy's been registered at 74 every tournament since 2011. I think that if one time it shows up at 79, that actually means a little more than Abinator at 65.
Yes.
I don't know. That would be interesting. I hope not. Man, I want this Dake Burroughs thing. Round whatever.
Ooh.
If Suriano beats Micic Sunday and DeSanto gets the 1 seed at Big Tens, what kind of chance do you give RBY to make the finals? He would have to beat Pletcher and DeSanto. Micic, Suriano, and Lezak would theoretically be opposite side. I would give RBY a solid chance.
The RBY thing, that 4 through 7,
The Ben Thornton loss makes things really tough.
I have no idea how that's going to play out. I think RBY is going to be the 4 because I think that makes the most sense. But RBY could really be the 7.
Yeah. Matt McVeigh, but regarding his chances to make the finals, I think he has a great chance to make the finals if that's his side.
Who does he have the best? So if 1, 2, 3, right? Because if he's 4 or 5, he's got to go through the 1. If he's 2 or 3, right? Or 6 or 7, he's got to go through 2 or 3. Who does he have the best chance of being? Micic, DeSanto, Suriano?
DeSanto.
Probably.
Speaking of DeSanchis, Matt McVeigh, does Austin DeSanto's jump up the rankings and improvement prove the value of being in one of the elite programs? I don't think there are certainly plenty to point to the value of being at one of the elite programs. I don't think Austin DeSanto, wow, night and day better wrestler. I mean, this is a guy that smashed Micic last year. He was really good last year. The end of his season wasn't great, but he was riding at this point in the season last year. He was way up there in the rankings. Who had he even lost to at that point? Just like Mueller. I'm not ready to say I mean, what evolution in Austin DeSanto have we seen from a technical standpoint? Looks like the same guy to me, which is not a bad thing. It's not like a knocking its eye. It's like really good guy, wrestles really hard. He's still a really good guy, wrestles really hard. His attack rate, actually, in the beginning of the year, I thought had waned somewhat.
He's definitely improved on the mat. Now, can you attribute that to Iowa? Can you attribute that to another year in college? I certainly think some of it you can attribute to Iowa. I would maybe say DeSanto has improved more than like Lugo.
Mueller, Ian Parker, he had Montorie Bridges. He had a few losses.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Okay. I don't remember
it either.
I remember him smashing Montorie Bridges.
Yeah, he beat Bridges at CKLV.
I don't think that's right, Willie.
Mm-hmm.
I will look it up, but I don't think that is. I don't believe that's
Ian
accurate.
Parker in a duel.
Oh, I remember the Parker one. That was super early on. Mueller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think he lost to Bridges.
Parker, Mueller.
My bad, not Bridges. He lost to Parker. He didn't lose to Bridges. He beat Bridges. He lost to Mueller twice.
Got it.
And then he lost to Tucker in the IWA semis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't got to conference yet. Yeah, so I think some of it is just like the guy was a true freshman last year. Now he's a true sophomore. He's got more experience. So I'm not saying there are certainly examples of guys that have transferred to schools and transferred to Iowa, and you say, wow, holy cow, big impact. Right now, I think really good.
I think he's gotten considerably better, but not like life-changing. I mean, he's a year older, right? He was a true freshman last year. You have to account some of it has to account for getting a freshman year under his belt, a true freshman year under your belt in NCAA wrestling, and of course, Tom and Terry are the two premier lightweight coaches. So of course they're having an impact on him, but yeah.
And then there's also like non-wrestling things that we don't know, right? Is DeSanto doing better in the classroom, right? Is he like all those things? Like those are things we can't really know either. So yes, some of it probably applies to Iowa. Some of it also probably applies to the fact that he's older.
Okay. What else could we ask? This is a pretty interesting one. Rye asks FRL is his handle, so we'll read that one. Thank you. And I appreciate you didn't make the avatar yet. That just shows how little you care about having Twitter apart from being able to ask questions. What do you think that Penn State does in the wrestling room that is different than every other team to get their guys to perform at the best at NCAAs, plus turn out high performances throughout the season? Well, I think probably if you followed Penn State for an entire season, you wouldn't probably be able to put your finger on any one thing that they do, right? And be like, it's this. They meditate, or they do this thing, or they do this drill. I think it's like almost like a Patriots thing, where like they're just making 3 better decisions every single day, every day of the year, and it just combines to this thing at the end of the year that is like, wow, they're just that much better because a little bit a day at a time measures up. But some of the things you hear about, and no one really knows for sure, but a lot of play wrestling, a lot of just sparring. I've heard that they go live every day, which is like kind of anti what you would maybe think. Like when they go live every day, I think their practices are like short and intense. They take Wednesdays off, I think, but I don't think that's like an uncommon thing in wrestling. I've heard that other teams do that. Maybe it's their individual focus. I don't know what they do. The interesting thing about like, you don't hear a lot about their strength and conditioning program, but they're all really strong and in good shape too. So I don't know what it is there, but I think it's probably nothing that would like blow our minds. But
I think, I haven't been in the room often. I've been in the room, I don't know, 3 times over 10 years maybe. But one thing I think, I don't know, it's pretty evident to me, and I think it pays large dividends, is I think they make it enjoyable. I think I think they, for so long, and maybe we've been removed from it for a while now, and so some people don't know it, or some people, they're newer fans, whatever the case. NCAA wrestling used to be, still is to a certain extent, long, drawn out, knock down, drag out. I got to go to class, and I got to practice, and I got to cut 1,000,000 pounds, then I got to do this. And I think Penn State has made it an environment where they actually enjoy it. It's not a drag. They enjoy going to the room. They're not beat up after a practice. They're the tea leaves I read.
And I think to that point, that's partially recruiting, right? Identifying kids who maybe enjoy it more and are less likely to get burned out and are easier to make enjoy the sport.
Well, I think there's definitely a component to that. I think, I mean, I've heard that one of Kale's things is on recruiting trips, how much wrestling? Do you love it? I mean, how much do you love wrestling? I mean, how much do you like it? I mean, listen, there's a lot of high school kids that are very talented. I mean, the list is endless of kids that were really good in high school, legit, number one, and they were about gassed out. They went through the ringer, right? They were about burnt.
Yeah.
And so I think, part of it is recruiting, sure. Kale trying to find guys that genuinely, sincerely enjoy it, love being in the room, love playing around. Part of it is finding them, and part of it is continuing to make them enjoy it.
And I like your point. So the way that I put it one time, the 3 better decisions, right, is like if every team has 15 bad minutes of practice a week, right, where the guys are sluggish or, the coach is out of it or they're getting hurt or whatever like Penn State has fewer of those or none of those, right? And so again, like it's these little things, but more than anything in the wrestling room, I think it's a lot of stuff outside the wrestling room as far as performance anxiety, sports psychology, whatever, all of that mental stuff that you want to, like whatever term you want to use, umbrella term you want to use, as far as like the Penn State coaching staff reduces the outside worries, right? Puts the pressure on themselves of wins and losses. It makes it fun, right? All those things that like you go out and it's easier to perform when you're enjoying it, when you don't feel pressure, when you know that, or you feel that you're the best conditioned, when you feel that you're the best technician, when you feel that you're better than the other guy, and it kind of snowballs.
There you have it. I think that's it.
I like Andrew Finn's question. You like Andrew Finn's question?
Read it.
Some to the effect, NCAA's handing out medicals like they're candy.
Oh, yeah.
Who in the past would you like to see get a medical? I mean, the first name that popped up to me was Dustin Schlater.
Here's the one for me. Is Darian Caldwell.
Yeah.
Would have loved to see what he could have done if he didn't have to wrestle that year. Although maybe it would have been the same thing because he had taken kind of that year before off. So that's the one that comes to mind as far as a guy. But yeah, Schlater. But Schlater, I feel like, is definitely one that it wouldn't have made a difference. The guy never got healthy. He never got healthy.
He was just beat up. Yeah.
That's my thought. It's just like at that point the body was just like tapped out completely.
One of the best. Shucks.
Yeah, he was nasty. That is a good question. You're right, Willie. I'm glad you asked it. And now I'm going to ask that we leave right now. Brady and Brad, feel free to play us out. Wow, they had it ready. They were just waiting. They finger on the button. As soon as I said their name, play. Best in the business back there.
Good job by you guys.
Good job by you. Thank you, Willie. Thank you to you for listening to 353 episodes of FloWrestling Radio Live. We're getting up there. Getting up in age. Not wisdom. Just getting older. That's it. Thanks so much. Big weekend of wrestling. Surprise, surprise. And next week is Iowa-Oklahoma State week. Prepare yourselves.
I will be in Madison on Sunday for Iowa, Wisconsin.
Madtown, get some cheese. I hope you have some winter coats.
Oh,
gonna be
I'm
cold.
gonna get a lot of cheese.
Okay. Hope that's not code for something. Thanks so much, guys. We will be back Tuesday. Come heck or high water. Have a nice weekend. Happy Valentine's Day.